John Higby gave me a huge 1 year's worth of subscriptions on Patreon and sponsors today's video. Ojer Taq versus Jared Carthalion, Amareth and Kotori. Gonna try one more time with this commander, and we've got only one land, but a means of drawing cards. No tokens into the wedding announcement though. Can we trust that we can go Arcane Signet from the Enlightened Shooter? We'll try it. Keeping a one-lander isn't the best hand to start out with, but we will try it, especially when we're trying to get the first good game with this commander. We will try. Okay, and drawing into a Requiem Angel, which will make tokens once we actually start getting into tokens. A vehicle from the vehicles player, Consulate Dreadnought. That is just crew 6 for a 7/11. Just some tap lands for our opponents. So we'll go for the Enlightened Shooter, and maybe going for the Wayfarer's Bauble will be better so that we can guarantee land drops. It's not flashy, but there's no guarantee that we'll hold on to the rocks is the problem. Yeah, we'll go for the Bauble. So draw into that, of course, and now we can show our opponents the Mana Crypt and pray that no one scoops to it. They should be paying attention to the fact that we are missing a land drop this turn, when you exclude the one from the Wayfarer's Bauble, of course. A Mere Smith for more tokens potentially over here. Struggling on the colours here while he doesn't have an artifact, but there is Azor's Gateway to give him one, so this will now tap for a mana of any colour. Turns into a City's Brass. And an Abundant Growth onto one of the Tricycle lands. We'll draw a card when it enters. Don't think this one ramps. No, it just means that one mana of any colour can be added by the land, so not the greatest of auras that you can enchant a land with. Anyway, we stand to lose life every turn now, thanks to playing the Mana Crypt. And we do. And another big spell in the form of Increasing Devotion. So what we could do here is try and set up with the wedding announcement, but this is just going to make tokens for us, really. We want to be doing that into our commander. I'm risking upsetting my opponents, but we'll go for the One Ring here. Just noteworthy that our opponents have asked for, I'm always remiss to bring it up because that upsets some viewers as well, but I'll just show you what they asked for in the lobby here. Casual fun, 4 to 6 power. So I think I'm adhering to that with this deck, but if they see things like Mana Crypts and the One Ring, then certain players don't think that specific cards should be played in casual games, but we've spoken about that on the channel ad nauseum. I'm desperate to get into lands here, so we are seeing why you don't keep one-landers at the moment. See how long we can last with all the damage coming from Mana Crypt and the One Ring. The first commander is Kotori, Pilot Prodigy, and they do have 2 power in order to crew this, so that will be a 7/11, and no prizes for guessing where it swings in. Lifelink and Vigilance going onto this from the commander as well. And alright, surprisingly, does not come in towards us. Yeah, and that's why I've been worried about playing the cards I've been playing. Jared continuing to get mana down with a Commander Sphere, and we start to take the life to the One Ring and potentially the Crypt as well. Yep, 0 for 2 on the Crypt. Take 1 to the One Ring. Alright, well, we're getting into... There's an Arcane Signet at least. A land here would be nice off the One Ring. We will draw 2 cards, put a second burden counter on that. Alright, and we had to dig deep for that in order to get into a land, but the One Ring getting us there. So let's throw out the Arcane Signet. And tempted to get down the Wedding Ring here, or the Wedding Announcement, but I think we need to hold up Get Lost. Mirrored Besieged into play, and they do name Mirren with that, so whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a Mirror token. Then deciding to crew on the Dreadnought again, which we will blow up if they swing in at us. We need to really save life as best we can. Yeah, so not swinging in at us, we will leave it alone in that case. Maelstrom Nexus is the first spell you cast each turn, has Cascade. We could blow something up here, but I think I'd rather keep hold of the removal. Maelstrom Nexus is probably worth blowing up actually now that I'm thinking about it. I think we'll risk a scoop here as well, because so many players on Magic Online can't stand interaction. Yeah, we'll go for the Maelstrom Nexus with that. They're going to play their commander into this and get a big free spell, potentially. Winning the flip on Mana Crypt this time. Obviously taking damage to the One Ring though. And we do manage to make it into a land, so that's excellent. I think we'll risk getting down our Ojer Taq here, and if there's a Swords to Plowshares on the horizon, then so be it. We've shown this player that we're going to leave him alone, but he's been leaving us alone as well, in all fairness. This is a pretty obvious play to make, in all fairness, so wouldn't be surprised to see removal here. But if we hold up a single white as well, then there is a chance that our opponent will be worried about a Swords to Plowshares in kind. A Gilded Lotus is an artifact, so we'll make a Mere token. Don't have the surplus mana for the Mere Smith, unfortunately. So crewing the 7/11 again. Sitting at 47 life at the moment, thanks to the lifelink from the commander. Doing a hell of a lot of work considering it only costs 1 mana, and finally coming in at us with that. We're probably due for that, in all fairness, so see if we can get into some of this removal then. Fortunately not, we do have a land for next turn at least. But we're going to have to blow this up sooner than later, I think. We'll try and make them swing in at us again, so that we've got an excuse to do it. Just have to take the damage, unfortunately. Well, playing that into the Maelstrom Nexus would have been pretty bad. Trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep you may untap target creature, gain control of it until the end of the turn. That creature gains haste until the end of the turn. Alright, so managing to untap with the Ojer Taq, which we have struggled with over the past few games that we tried to play with this. Just praying that we manage to dodge this lightning bolt from the mana crypt multiple times. We lose again. I think that's like 1 for 4 or something. Drew more cards with the One Ring, so we're below half of our starting life total. An entrapment maneuver. We're going to have to discard some cards to hand size. We'll have 3 mana up for the Generous Gift after we've gone for Increasing Devotion. So yeah, we'll aim for that. Alright, so we end up with 15 human tokens here. And I was thinking of going for a Soul Sisters sub-theme in the deck, maybe shoving a Soul Warden in here or something. Maybe that's going to be an idea, especially if we're playing cards like the One Ring. But won't worry about it for now. We've got 8 cards in hand, so we have to discard 1 of them. So let's take Ojer Taq in at the right against the 5/5. This doesn't have any keywords on it, does it? Just trample. Obviously they could crew up the 7/11, so not going to swing a 6/6 into that. Alright, and I think Wedding Announcement is going to be a bit too slow for us. The card draw isn't all that important now that we've got the One Ring online, so we'll discard that. Tezzeret the Seeker is a pretty scary one, can go for a tutor with that. And deciding to just go for a 4 mana artifact straight out of the bin. Well, straight out of the library, I should say, putting Tezzeret the Seeker into the bin. Went after a Weatherlight there, so this is the one, 4/5 flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 5 cards of your library. An historic card goes into your hand, the rest go on the bottom. And of course, they all have crew 2, thanks to the commander. This will be affected by Summoning Sickness, as I understand it, so only crewing up the 7/11, you would think. Now, we have to be careful about losing our Ojer Taq here. If this thing can gain control of our commander and swing it in over here, then we do have to worry about the crew creatures. Looks like Mere Smith is remaining untapped, so we'll see what happens during this turn, but might have to blow this thing up. Alright, so swinging in at us, showing our opponent that he's not worried about us, he wants to gang up. Trying to encourage our opponent to do that, we just chump block. So why don't we draw some more cards first. The One Ring is definitely going to kill us this game, but we'll see how far we can get. Alright, there's Keeper of the Accord, Sword of the Animist, some ramp basically. Felidar Retreat might be tempting next turn. And then we'll go for Generous Gift onto the big creature so that it can't steal away our commander. Assuming that the Azorius player can't counter it, that is, he does let it through. So we're giving this player a pretty hard time, but he is a decent threat to us. Ramos Dragon Engine is going to be able to make a decent amount of mana over the course of the game. And props to our opponent for playing it out, because we've said no to pretty much everything he's done so far. Oh, okay, maybe not. So it turns into a 1v1, and we'll see if we can actually outrace the 2 artifacts that are trying to kill us here. If we can draw into the Halo Fountain, then we can win pretty quickly, actually. There's an Ashnod's Altar. Let's draw with the One Ring now, just in case. Okay, there's double mana on the extra planar lens. And we've got the Strix Stadium as well, which could do it for us. Adeline will make more tokens as well. We could maybe do it here. So before I go for landfall or anything, because I'm not sure if I'm playing the Felidar Retreat, let's go extra planar lens. That will get rid of a snow plains. Our opponent doesn't control any snow plains, so we're not doubling up his lands. Then that will give us 10 mana here, 11 with the Signet. That is 8, and then back up to 9 with the Stadium. So yeah, maybe can go for the Felidar Retreat then. This way we'll be able to have Vigilance on our human tokens so that we can hold up the Clever Concealment. So we'll go for the Strixhaven Stadium now. Just play a land now. I don't think the counters and tokens matter all that much. So plus counters, not really all that important. It's the Vigilance that I'm worried about here really. So plus counters and Vigilance on everything. Then we'll put our first counter on the Strixhaven Stadium. And we can go for Adeline. And that will make some more tokens when we swing in. Noteworthy that is currently a 16-4. Might as well put Darksteel Mutation onto the commander as well to remove any crewing shenanigans. That will likely switch off the 7-11 Consulate Dreadnought. And with that, I think they can't crew this up, can they? Oh, they can still crew this up, but they can't block the Ojer Taq effectively then. So swing in with everything. Adeline doesn't need to swing in order to trigger. So usually would only get one token here, but we do have the Ojer Taq in play. So they enter 3 of those, are sideways and attacking, and I think we might be able to just about do it here. And if we can, apologies to my opponents, not sure if that was too strong. I mean, we were really treading water for a long time there, and wouldn't even have been able to do anything if it wasn't for the 1 ring and the fast mana because we kept a 1-lander. Yeah, so if that was too strong, I do apologise. Happy to see us finally get a win with Ojer Taq though, as sketchy as it was. The Strixhaven Stadium is going to resolve here, and we end up getting them off the back of the Strixhaven Stadium. For those of you who don't know, whenever a creature you control deals damage to an opponent, put a point counter on this, and when it has 10 or more, remove them all and you win the game, or that player loses the game specifically. That's relevant in multiplayer. But yeah, finally got a chance to do something with Ojer Taq. Didn't mean to overpower my opponents, but I think that was a fair game considering the lack of mana that we had there. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. Hopefully it was a fair game. Big thank you to the patrons for supporting the channel as ever. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.